Hello, this is Elizabeth Clare Brewington with Discover Brightside, the place where you meet new authors and book clubs and get inspired to read and do some great things with book lovers and the book community. So I'm here with Jaime Andrews, who's an actor and a producer and filmmaker, and I'm excited to talk about this great memoir, and especially if you're a teen or a mom or a parent of a teen, this book will really, really inspire you and the teens around. So we hope you're going to love this interview. And like we say, write us a comment. Go to Jamie's website and write her a review. And if you do buy the book, snap a photo and tell us all about it, so we know that you're watching and that you're supporting the channel. So thank you. And you are pros. You know how to subscribe. You know how to hit the bell button. You know all the great stuff to do. So do it. Thank you for being in our studio, Jaime, today. And let's get to it.
It's my pleasure, Elizabeth. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's a mission.
What an accomplished person. I mean, I'm so delighted. Yes, you. So, tell me all about yourself, and then we'll get into the book and get into some details. And I'm just so excited to meet you.
Okay, great. Well, let's see. I grew up always wanting to be an actor, and in my teen years, thanks to, the pitfalls of adolescence, I got really far off track, which is what I get into in my memoir, The Brink. Um, but luckily, my passion for acting really turned me around and got me back on that path. And I've had this great 20-year long career as a union member. I've done all kinds of really weird things. Like I was on the cover of the My Chemical Romance album, and and I've done like a Super Bowl commercial with Chester Cheetah, like just and that K-mart ship your pants ad that keeps going around the internet. I swear it'll never go away.
Isn't
So
that
I'm
terrible? The thing you really don't want is like making you
right,
famous.
right. No, I was actually pretty proud of it. It's a funny commercial, but it didn't do very well for Kmart. We don't see them anymore. But yeah, it's just really been interesting to do a bunch of disparate things. And I got into writing. I wrote this book actually when I first moved to Los Angeles, and I didn't have a social life or money, so I just sat and wrote this book because I think I had this pain inside me from my childhood, but I also knew it would be a really entertaining story. So I really just expurgated that and got it out on the page, but I was too scared to publish it at the time. I had interest and I wanted to publish it anonymously, and they were like, "No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
we want to promote an author, not a
Yes.
non-entity." So I said no, and finally, years passed, making things happen and acting career, doing theater. I moved to Atlanta and the pandemic happened, and I decided I was going to write a movie. I was so inspired by the political climate at the time. So I wrote this movie, Division, that's out now. Got distribution and everything. It's just this tiny movie we made in my living room and on my block. And but it's been really helpful. Now I'm writing all the time to have a sideline so that I'm not just waiting for auditions to come in.
Yeah.
Actually found a proclivity for it that I'm like, oh yeah, I used to do this when I was young. Maybe I should have stuck with this.
Yeah, but it is, I mean, you put your whole life in a book, and I always admire people who write memoirs because it's your private, it's something very private, and then you're telling the whole world about it. So yes, I can understand the time that it's taken, which makes the book even more valuable because, it is the right time right now. We've come out of the pandemic, but there's just so many things going on with this world that the book will give so much inspiration. And you know, and I think it's just not just for teens, but for everyone, because you
Oh,
reach
for
that
sure.
point where you feel like I'm on the brink. What do I do? And I love the title.
Thank
What got you to the title? It's just amazing.
Well, I thank you so much. I do think everyone can relate to it. Everyone's
Yeah.
had times when they struggle. And The Brink was always the title. I think I had 20 pages written and I'm like, this is the brink. And it wasn't a thought process. It just came to me. And it's funny. I
Yeah.
just wrote a new screenplay called Hardcore, and I didn't have a name for it for a while. And I was watching a play, and all of a sudden hardcore just like popped into my head. Like, you never know where inspiration comes from or why. But yeah, I've always been really emphatic about my titles, and they're always really short: Division, Hardcore, The Brink.
Yeah.
They're a
Yeah.
little punch in the face there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's also like, when you're really reaching that point, you're like, okay, I'm at the brink, slow down, you know.
Yes,
And
yes. Well, what's
yeah. Uh so being an actor is not easy. You've got to go for all these casting calls, and then you never know whether you're in or you're out, and then you get in, and then it's like all this energy that has been spent. um but you've done it successfully, and I've watched some of your podcasts, and you're amazing inspiration, to everyone. So what are the top three things that you think, the brink and you can bring to someone that's on the brink?
I think number one would be keep going. That's one of my favorite phrases. Like, if you feel like you're going through hell, keep going.
Yes.
Because I mean, I almost gave up so many times, and I don't mean just giving up acting. I mean giving up living.
Everything.
That's
Yeah.
a horrible place to be. But I think so many people go through that, and just hang in there. You never know what the day will bring, because for, I guess, point 1A or 2 would be that you never know what magic there is in store.
Yes.
Like, if I'd given up, I've had such incredible experiences. And I think when you push through, when you fight through that hardship, it makes you such a strong light in the world. And you can really accomplish so much when you overcome your demons.
Yes.
Um, and gosh, number 3 would be keep a sense of humor.
Yes.
Um, I mean, I went through dark times, but as I do in the book, I try to confront it with a dark but a sense of humor.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah, I think, there's almost nothing you can't laugh at. Um, gallows humor, dark
Yeah.
humor is my favorite kind.
Yeah.
Finding the light in darkness.
Our audience, because we live in Goldsboro, which is a military, it's an Air Force base. And so our channel attracts a lot of people in the military.
Oh,
Sometimes we
cool.
get, Facebook messages from somebody who's been deployed. But suicide is a big deal in our group. We have a lot of veterans that call us like middle of the night, saying they saw the channel, they got inspired, they were on the brink, and then they saw us on the channel, and then they watched the videos, and felt better. So of course,
So incredible.
we do have that, and I think that's not just in our city, but that's all over the world. And I think the television, streaming channels, YouTube, Facebook, I think that's what the best part of it is, that it inspires people. They see other people, and then they feel so much better. So writing this book has, not only helped you, but it's helped many people, because when you're in the situation, you're isolated, you feel so alone, you feel like there's no one else there. And then when they can read a book like yours, and then they can feel like, okay, I'm not alone in feeling like this. I think that kind of helps to go a long way. And so I applaud you for writing the book. It's a brave move, because not lots
Thank
of people,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's my greatest hope, that it would help people.
yeah, and that was a long period too. So yeah. So then you moved to being this actor and the production company.
Well,
That
I'll tell you the truth, Elizabeth. There's another book in the wings called Further, another short
yeah,
title, because things actually got worse before they got better.
okay.
So there was while there's hope at the end of the brink, I mean, it just proves we can all stumble and fall back, and we
Yeah,
can get to, a pretty low place before we pick ourselves up.
yeah.
Uh, so I'm
You know,
working
I
on.
know it just feels like, like whenever I see a action Tom Cruise movie, I always like to use him as an excuse, and he gets up and he jumps again and all that thing. But I think life is kind of like a movie sometimes, you fall, you get up, but it makes you who you are. Because I mean, if you had a blah blah life where nothing happened, you wouldn't be the person you are. So, your experiences have made you come into being a producer. So,
Yes.
and I can't wait for the new book. And tell me a little bit about being a producer and having your own production company and how exciting.
Let
Because
me tell you, making that movie division is the best thing I've ever done in my life. It's the thing I'm most proud of, except maybe overcoming my youth. But this is something more tangible. Like, I was just inspired to do something. I found other people who wanted to work on it with me, and we just came together and really worked hard to make it happen really quickly, because it's set before the election of 2020, during the pandemic. So like, we knew it was very timely, so we wanted to make it happen right away. And I had produced theater before, but I'd never produced a film, and it was so gratifying because
yeah,
I was good at it. Just being really detail oriented, and it just proves, like, don't doubt yourself. You can do anything. Like, give yourself a lofty goal and make yourself rise to the occasion. Like, I had no choice. I now had hired, 20 people to make a movie with me. There was no backing out now. There was no crying in the bathroom.
yeah.
I had to be there making sure it was happening. And it was an incredible experience. It was one of the best experiences of my life, for sure. And then for it to go to a couple of film festivals and win awards, it was really
I know.
overwhelming, gratifying. It was,
Yeah.
I'm I'm so grateful for the whole experience. I can't wait to do it again, Elizabeth.
Come on,
Another
man. Let's do it. Make another one. Yeah. What about
I
the brink?
I
The
need more
brink.
money for this one.
What about the brink? The brink would make a fabulous movie, I think.
Thank you. I actually did write a screenplay. There is the Brink screenplay that's just a part, the brinkiest part of the book.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's a very ambitious film. I imagine it
Yeah.
with animation. I have a friend.
Maybe it could
uh,
be a series with episodes then, if it seems so long and yeah, right?
Exactly. I have a friend out in LA who wants to turn it into a series. So yeah, I'm all for that. Sure.
Yeah. So let's give a shout out. Netflix or Hulu or anyone watching this.
Pick
Come
it
on.
up, pick it
Be the
up.
first to jump in. This is
It's
something we're giving you. Discover Brightside. So yeah, I really think it has potential. I think it's
Thank you.
amazing. And then you also did another graphic novel, Cookie and the Monster.
Oh, that's a lot of the stories from the brink. That actually, that's kind of backburnered right now. Unfortunately, I've had trouble. It's hard to get artists
Yeah,
to commit. So I've had a couple of them fall through. Just, I understand everyone's got busy lives, and I love paying them too.
that's
So
always the hard part when you pay someone and they can't do. And then you have to be forgiving and loving because that's who you are. So
thank
I've
you.
had experiences like that too. So you're the co-host for the Daniel Baldwin show. Tell us about the podcast. Can I
Well,
come on it? Yeah.
that's so funny. I would love to have you on, but as of a couple of weeks ago, it is over, and
Oh,
I'm like biting my tongue here
well, you can
because
do another one
the
later.
guy it was Daniel was so great to work with. We had so much fun. I'm really bummed it didn't happen. The guy who was bankrolling it, talk
Yeah.
about money falling through, like stopped paying me, he
Yeah.
stopped paying the studio. I would call him out right now, but I'm giving him another chance to pay me.
All
So
right. Well, then just pitch. Maybe there's someone else who wants to bankroll and do the investing in this channel. So
oh, it
again,
was so
covered it
fun.
on
We had,
Brightside, and you never know who's watching. So
right?
this is a great way. So all right. So it sounds like I call this a great moment because sometimes, it's I'm from India and meditation, and sometimes you have to clear out all the junk and get into the new place. So where is it going now?
Right now I'm working really hard on the script I talked about, hardcore, on getting it out there. This is new for me. Like when I wrote Division, I just said, let's just make it ourselves because I know, it could take
Mm-hmm.
years to make a script happen in Hollywood. But this time there's no timeline on it. And I want to do it as big as possible. So right now I'm pitching it to people, which is really
Yeah,
exciting. The reception has been phenomenal. Like
yeah,
so it's another true story. This time it's not about me. Most stuff I've
yes,
written has been about me. This is actually about a kid I went to high school with.
yeah,
Uh, Committed this horrific crime. So
yeah,
I was really inspired by his story, and I wrote it because I try to write things with a message, and it's really an indictment against mental health care in this country because,
yeah.
as you know, with veterans and all kinds of people are not getting the care that they need.
No,
Uh,
they're not. And these meds can be so harsh on some people. It works for some. I'm pro, and I've got
yes.
both sides to the story. But yes, it can be very involved. But you've done it all, and you've inspired us all. And thank you for being here on our show. And let me tell everyone, get the book. So once again, The Brink is available on Amazon and different places, and you can watch this. You can go and write a review. You can comment. You can buy the book. You can find her an investor and producer and get this
Yes, do
published.
that.
So there's a number of things you could do. So go do it all, and as we say, you just remember that you discovered it on Brightside. Thank you for watching. Yay.